Sparky? Sparky's down there. He's done. Sparky's down there acting out like a little dog with his toy. Anyways, hello. Alright, today I wanted to deal with the God's truth. Alright, now, yeah, you know, every time I always surf around and take a look and see what I can find before I go and blurt out what I think it is my opinion should be. But anyways, but today I wanted to talk about this. I mean, so far along in this series, I've talked about the easy stuff, you know what I'm saying, and how it fits in and what I think, you know what I'm saying. But today I wanted to tackle one that's been a mystery to people for eons. What did you call it, babe? Right? The mysteries. Anyways, truth, or the God's truth. Right? According to the Greeks, it was defined as aletheia. Ancient Greek, aletheia, is truth or disclosure in philosophy. It was used in ancient Greek philosophy and revived in the 20th century by Martin Heidegger. It is a Greek word variously translated as unclosedness, unconcealedness, disclosure, or truth. Now, when you take that a little bit farther, right, you come to aletheia, or aletheia, was the spirit of truth, the truthfulness and sincerity. Her opposites were doulos, trickery, right, apate, deception, and pseudology, lies. Right now, what I'm reading here is I'm on the internet here. I'm on search page www.theoi.com. Aletheia, right, aletheia. And I scrolled down and I found this little piece preserved from Paradis' Appendix number 5. Right, you can look all this stuff up. It's right here. I'm going to read from it here. Prometheus. He was said to be the person that created aletheia, truth, the goddess. In this case, the spirit of truth. Prometheus, that potter who gave shape to our new generation, decided one day to sculpt the form of aletheia, truth, right, using all his skills so that she would be able to regulate people's behavior, right? As he was working, an unexpected summons from mighty Jupiter called him away. Prometheus left cunning Doulos, trickery, in charge of his workshop. Doulos had recently become one of the god's apprentices, right? Fired by ambition, trickery used the time at his disposal to fashion with his sly fingers a figure of the same size and appearance as aletheia, truth, with identical features. Right? When he had almost completed the piece, which was truly remarkable, he ran out of clay to use for her feet. The master returned, so Trickery quickly sat down in the seat, quaking with fear. Prometheus was amazed at the similarity of the two statues and wanted it to seem as if all the credit were due to his own skill. Therefore, he put both statues in the kiln, and when they had been thoroughly baked, he infused them both with life, sacred truth, walked with measured steps, while her unfinished twins stood stuck in their tracks. That forgery, that product of subterfuge, thus acquired the name of Mandacanum, pseudologo, falsehood, or lies. And I readily agree with people who say that she has no feet. Every once in a while, something that is false can start off successfully, but with time, truth is sure to prevail. This fable is preserved only in the Latin text. Aesop's aletheia, truth personified, becomes veratus in the Latin, translating the Greek to the Roman. Right? So, and then it got me to thinking, you know what I'm saying? If truth is a spirit, it was she was a goddess or a spirit that was created by one of the 12 main gods, you know what I'm saying? I got to thinking then, when you play that out into a higher thought process and into the higher thinking levels of the human mind, then what this spirit becomes is an attribute of human, an intrinsic human attribute. These are things that we have, you know what I'm saying? That's where the pagan traditions stand out from Christian or Jewish or whatever, is because there is such a pantheon of gods and spirits, you know what I'm saying, that when you look at it closely and you study it and you think about it, right, each one of these individuals, demigods or whatever, spirits, sprites, you know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of different stuff going on, right? You can pinpoint it down in modern psychology as a human attribute, right? So truth is an attribute of ourselves, right? So therefore, the way I see truth is I equate truth with reality. The God's truth is reality happening right now with me talking to you right now. Right now, I have control of your reality because you're listening to what I'm saying, and you're interested, and you're glued, you're plugged in to what it is that I'm explaining to you, right? Okay, well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you a bunch of lies, so basically I'm dealing with the truth. All right, so that's where I was going with all of this. And then I was reading along, and I was thinking to myself, you know what I'm saying, how do you describe reality, right, in terms of the ancients, and what were they saying, and how does it come forward into what people today think of the God's truth? See, now we're touching on something that might be sensitive to some people and certain believers and certain religious sects, right? Because in some of these traditions, they're taught to believe what their dogma is, right? To believe the theology of the books that they're studying and they're reading. Well, me, you know what I'm saying, I'm a pagan. Most of my stuff is scratched in the trees in the woods. That's where it came from. And then later on, when I studied other traditions, and when I came to the Sufi traditions, through Mr. Shah's books, right, I learned to think on a different plane, on a different level. So to me, truth is that which is real. But to certain believers of the faith, right, to them, truth is God's word, or truth is what God meant, or truth is what God said in this point, in this time. Well, you know what? If you're believing in a man, then you're believing that what he spoke at the time was real in his life. See, that's where we get tangled up. You see, that's where we get tangled up, because there's no sense of allegory in a lot of the traditions of the faith. Allegory is something that's inferred. Allegory is something that is brought through in the meaning of a story or a fable or a parable. Right? Allegory is the other side of it, the underside that you don't see, that you only feel, right? The truth behind the allegory. You see? So the next time you're thinking about it and you're trying to put it in perspective what I'm saying, right? Place reality in that section where it says truth. This is today's reality. This is the truth of today, right? You know what I'm saying? There you go. Right? And as long as you keep it stir and you're locked and your higher and your lower self is united in one, right, then you always live in God's truth, right? I'll get into God's grace later, right? But today it's about truth and how that flows with everything that I've been explaining and talking about in this series, right? Let me know. You think I'm wrong? Say so. Don't be afraid. Huh, babe? Right? You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. This is a discussion, right? And what we think and how we feel. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Have a good day.